Welcome back. We're kind of in the home stretch on this build, and I've done a little bit since last night. I've went ahead and installed the drive shafts and have created this template for the interior, because you have to have some way to package all this in there, and without it everything is loose. And I'm going to be able to do something with this chassis that I've always wanted to do but never had a chassis that was able to do it because it just didn't have enough room inside. And that is, I want to be able to put a battery in sideways and have it stand vertically. There's my dog over there. So the battery is actually going to go in once the template's in, a lot easier, and it will sit like that in the side. It won't look bad at all. It's just going to sit real low in the chassis and vertical, and I can't really get it any lower than that without putting it under the motor, which isn't possible unless I want to do it on the outside of the car. And I mean, if I'm trying to set a climb record, I might, but it's not necessary. But anyway, I've determined that this shape here is just about perfect for making a template. What I use for my template is just old packaging material, and material that used to have tools in it is usually really strong, and I like using this stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape that on, cut around it, and then make the folds as necessary, and then paint the back side. I'll burn some holes in it to put zip ties through it, and I'll show you it mounted. I've just taped that onto the plastic. Now I'm going to cut around it. That's what it looks like cut out. I'm going to fold the two end tabs up and the two side panels down, and it'll fit right in. This is what I've come up with for the ESC mount and battery guide. Anytime you build something out of plastic, metal, or cardboard, you start with the material and you remove everything that is not the part. And what I'm going to do now is I think I'll go ahead and paint it. So I'm going to tape the whole top side here and then paint the bottom side, and that way it shouldn't get scratched up and it'll have a nice glossy finish. And after that's done, I'll make the holes for the zip ties and then show you how it mounts inside the vehicle. Now for the hard part, you just have to wait for the paint to dry. A couple hours later, this is the final piece that's going to go in here, and it does need to be mounted. I'm going to do that with tiny cable ties, so a couple of holes need to be made in it, and I'm going to do that with a soldering iron because, well, I could do it with a hole reamer too, but soldering iron would probably be easier. Still have a little paint on my thumb, as you can see, but soldering iron's quick, and ready to be done with this so we can drive it. I ended up using my body reamer tool after all to just go ahead and open those holes up, and now I have something that I can zip tie it with. So at this point, it's just finishing the thing up. So I'll go ahead and slide that in the back, get the wires ready. Filmed live before an idiot internet audience. Now I just gotta figure out the best way to loop the cable ties. And the front one, here's what I've done. I only have, on this half, I have a pass-through. You can't really see it, but this part here, the tab that comes upward, only goes about halfway across the platform there. And the reason for that is I want it to be able to run the servo wires in. So I'm going to put this through the hole, and then I got two to do in the back, and I'll just do that off camera rather than waste your time here. I've got a back panel there that I'm just going to zip tie on, and then I'll cut the extra pieces off here, and it'll have a little shelf in the back. It'll be pretty cool. And the way this sits in is going to be far to the left. Or I'm sorry, far to the right. When I strap it in, you'll see why in a minute. That's what it looks like with my interior. Now I've got to mount the ESC and some tires, and I'll show you how the battery goes in, and we'll drive it. I have the ESC mounted in with double-sided 3M tape, and I'll bet you figured out where the battery's going already. This is one of the things I really like about this, is I can be able to put the battery straight in the back window, have it sit on the side there, and I'll just feed the wire through, and plugging it in and unplugging it might be a bit of a challenge, but I'm up to that. There's a view of the inside. I made a cutout for the transmission. I'll try to get some light down there so you can see it. But I've got flat sides in there, and those flat sides will be able to hold some Velcro. Right inside there is a tiny bit of Velcro. That should be enough to hold it. Install. Straight in through the back. And look at that. Right there. I may end up putting a little bit of Velcro somewhere else too up here just to hold it, but it's not going anywhere. I'm going to run the wire for the antenna forward. The fat lady hasn't hit the high note yet, but she's warming up. I'll show you what kind of tires are going to go on here, and then we'll drive it. This is a set of Pitbull rockers, and they are highly coveted at the moment. I'm sure they'll be widely available later, but the rockers are out of stock right now. That's what's going on here. Trio brass ringed wheels, and then she'll be done. Finally got it put together. It's ready to go under its own power for the first time, and you're gonna see it right here. The only thing left to do is take it over to my course, see how it performs, but I think it should be great.